all of you. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi, and as always, I have the ladies with me. Hello.
Hello, Mariah.
And our amazing audience. Hello. Thank you so much for coming. I had to take a cookie, but I just remembered I'm supposed to be on a diet, so I'm not going to eat it. Would you like to have it?
Thank you.
I actually wanted to eat that. It's an oatmeal cookie, and it's my favorite, but you know what? I'll pass. How are you doing, Mariam? I'm sure you're proud of me, Mariam.
I am really proud of you because I was looking at a cookie too and thinking, and then I was gossiping about you in my mind, like, oh, Mariah's taking a cookie. Oh, she's
No, she's not. I'm not, but I'm gradually trying to just eat healthy. I won't start keto, but gradually just eat
whole food.
Yeah, good food.
Still breastfeeding?
I'm still breastfeeding, but I'm going to start choosing carefully what I eat. How are you doing, Mariam? What's up?
I'm doing fine. Remember I said my CSR for this show is to look for positive stories across Africa and then share it with us just to encourage us. So there's this young man called Anthony Mutua from he's a Kenyan, and then he has this invention where he has shoes that generate electricity. So they put chips inside the shoes, and while you walk, it generates electricity to charge your phone. Wow. So even if you don't have your phone on you, when you walk, the electricity is saved on the shoe, and then you can use it to generate electricity.
Nice.
That's so cool. That's brilliant.
That's solve a problem. That we have enough problems in this country, in Africa as a whole, and we can stand out if we can just solve those problems.
Nice.
Yes.
How are you doing, madam?
I'm doing amazing and grateful. No, I wasn't here yesterday.
I was going to say, yesterday something to
excuse me. I'm doing great. So I have this program. You know, we've always sat here and we've talked about what the government is not doing. Like every day we point out things. And I decided to find an industry where I have the capacity to do my little quota to support. So I decided to pick education. I have a qualification in Montessori education. And so I'm organizing a training for teachers that will train them on the 21st century teaching methods that will help them in the classroom for our primary and secondary schools. And the program is titled Nurturing the Nurturer Masterclass by my humble self. So it's happening on the 9th of August. And Topware is my celebrity host for the event.
We'll get the details to our viewers on her page. We can't, because we're not allowed to mention it on TV. But definitely, people will get to know the details of the event. But congratulations, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
That's good. You're now teaching the teacher.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Topsy.
So I was reminded of my commitment to follow up with the National Assembly. And people were asking me on Twitter that you told us you would check on what is going on. I said, immediately they got sworn in. They took a recess. They just came back. I'm doing my work. Don't worry. I'm following up. The annoying part is that they are not especially for the Senate, they don't tweet what is going on. The social media is not active. So I'll have to wait to watch on TV to see what is going on. But the National Assembly, the House of Representatives, those ones are active. They'll be mentioning everything going on every day. So I'm doing my job. I'll be giving you reports. They will not. These 4 years, the National Assembly must work. And I know we have a hot topic on what happened to the Senate or so, but we're watching them. We have to take the job of holding them accountable.
Ladies, we are taking responsibility.
Yes.
Well done. It's good. We have to take responsibility.
He tweeted at me to remind me that he hasn't had any updates. So I'm working.
Honestly. You see, I'm just, honestly, we're tired of this. You see, Nigeria is becoming almost like Shameville. A lot of shameful talk, conversations, shameful things
Before
happening.
You finish one, another
left,
one will happen.
right, and center. It's just pathetic. I mean, this issue of the Senate, I know it's our hot topic today. And everybody has sent me these videos. Like, 1 million people say, Mariah, I hope we can talk about it tomorrow. I'm thinking, yeah, take it easy now. I heard it. Take it easy. Because it's worth talking about. And and also we're going to be discussing the rape issue. Now, not based on the two factors, the pastor or the lady. We're talking about rape generally. Because a lot, praise for you sent actually a message, a write-up actually, saying that almost every Nigerian guy, a lot of Nigerian men actually have raped somebody at some point as a young man. Not knowing. It wasn't like they did it intentionally, but during those days it happened. So he felt that Nigerian men should actually apologize to every woman.
To every woman, no.
Because there's a possibility that all the time I'm shouting, hey, rape, 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 do themselves. Yeah,
I was even asking myself the other day, are you sure? Better check. Are you sure you were not?
My sister.
Do you have a story? I'm still thinking.
Let's go on a break. When we come back, we're going to breeze through these pages and then we'll have a proper conversation on this senator issue and then the rape issue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
ṣiṣẹ́.
Right. Let's start with punch. Right. So, what this guy is saying here, Ruga can cause explosion. What this guy wants, and I have to read his quote. He says, "I think there is going to be trouble in this country if this Ruga thing is not handled imaginatively and with humanity as priority. Any country where cattle take priority over human life is definitely at an elementary stage." Computer programmer commits suicide after securing Canadian visa. Buhari says, "I'll require a formidable cabinet for the task ahead." Bad roads, we can't access 64 billion naira maintenance fund, says Firma. FG is persecuting Saraki, says Atiku. Oyo is technically bankrupt, says Makinde. Public Procurement Act encouraging corruption, says Senate President. And video shows senator slapping nursing mother at sex toy shop. Okay, let's start with this human interest story as usual.
Yeah, the Muyiwa guy. His name is Muyiwa Olushola. Right. So they found him dead in his room after taking a sniper mixed with alcohol. According to the story, he took that drink overnight and he was beginning to react because of the drink. He started making noise and then his father had to go to his door. They tried to force the door open. They could not. Neighbors gathered and at the end of the day, they found him. But on their way to the hospital, he died. And according to the story, he's also gotten a Canadian visa, which he's about to even travel by October, I think. October. And he's committing suicide. So some residents are saying that probably he's been depressed, that he's been complaining that there's so much pressure from the parents in the house.
In addition to that, he had actually schooled in Cyprus. And then from there, he secured the visa to Canada. And then I think he's been frustrated and put under pressure by his parents. And that frustration that probably led to his suicide.
Yeah, he had actually wanted to rent an apartment, but the parents insisted on him living with them.
So, but is that enough to commit suicide?
The issue is deeper than that.
Yeah. Major headline.
Major headline, Ruga, yes.
Yeah, Wole Soyinka was speaking at the United Nations inauguration of the 17 SDG goals. That's the Sustainable Development Goals. And he mentioned how the Ruga issue, if not well handled, could lead to an explosion. And I'm particular about it because it's very linked with what Obasanjo said also, in that our unity must be promoted. He said a cattle header has been given a sense of impunity. Yes. They kill without any compunction. They drive away the farmers who have contributed to the food solution in Nigeria, and the cattle eat their crop, and you come up with a Ruga as a solution. So this, I don't think the government should work in isolation from our thought leaders because they are speaking the heart of many Nigerians. Okay. Let us be seen to be carried along.
Okay, Tokwe, I don't want us to continue to feel this because the objective is to solve the problem. Yes. If our objective is to solve the problem, let us not continue to reiterate the wrong things because what we're told here, and as you're taking responsibility for the Senate, I'm going to take responsibility to ensure that Nigerians have the right information concerning this Ruga. Exactly. I'm going to try to get the right people to come on the show, hopefully by Monday, to talk to us on this issue.
Because the conversation
it's back and forth. It just seems like there's a miscommunication. What I'm told elsewhere is that the people who are coming to our country are different from the average Fulani head but doesn't carry arms. That's what we are hearing. Like, you're disputing that, we have to discuss.
We're not disputing it. They're saying that they haven't dealt with those ones.
So those ones who are the foreigners, who are coming through our porous borders, are the ones we need to deal with. And they are saying to deal with that, get these actual Fulani ones that don't have arms, put them in a settlement. So the ones that are carrying arms, we know where they are, find them in the bush.
Yes. So the settlement is the dispute now. So the type of settlement is what is giving us
issues. No, the type of settlement is for the Fulani herdsmen. Yes, I know. The issue is to stop the herdsmen, for the armed ones from killing our farmers. Then we have to, this settlement is supposed to isolate them in the bush. But you know what? Let's thrash it here. We'll still bring experts to come in because Nigerians must understand. You might not agree, but you must have a clear understanding.
So when we talk about it, comes from a place of
yes, let's move on to the nation.
One last one on the punt. The Public Procurement Act, the Senate is saying that this act was done in 2007 and it has loopholes. And not only does it encourage corruption, but it frustrates the implementation of projects. So you have like different ministries and they would order for the same kind of cars or buses, and they all have different prices for the same thing, so that they need to
Minister
holistically
Fatoyinbo
look
actually
through
has complained about this procurement act so many times, and this is one of the issues that hampering his own
the
procurement
projects in
process.
Nigeria are the highest in the world. A bridge that you construct in Nigeria will be 10 times what you construct in Ghana.
Let's move on to The Nation. Soyinka cattle colonies can set Nigeria on fire. Economy attracts $8.5 billion in Q1, says NBS. It was risky funding Nadeko, says Oshoba. Kalu Boroface others as Senate officers, choir workers on EFCC searchlight. Okay, we've taken the Soyinka story, but I have to use the opportunity to talk about Nadeko, which is very, very important because you see, a lot of people don't understand the genesis of our democracy. And we are complaining that many of our elder statesmen are passing on without sharing information. So this is Oshoba speaking, telling us how Nadeko was formed, how the whole thing happened concerning Abacha, the takeover from Abacha, and what happened with them, MK Abiola. So it's important that you read these stories to have information on our history. I haven't read the article, but I will definitely study it. So it's important that we do.
The picture story. Do you remember Magajin Daura?
Oh, yes. Our president's uncle.
Is
it uncle or?
No, his AGC's father-in-law.
Right.
So he's been found 2 months and a day since he was kidnapped. The police commissioner in Kano State did the job with all forms of special investigation departments. And they went and they found him. They killed one of the abductors. They destroyed the den. I just hope that while they were destroying the kidnappers' den, that they took away information that could help them
get more of them.
Let's move on to Daily Sun. Lawan, Senate won't be rubber stamp, says senators will monitor contract award execution. Senators and talkways like. Abdullahi emerges Senate leader, Kalu chief whip. I need a formidable team to make Nigeria better, says Buhari. Governor Makinde says, Oyo is technically bankrupt. Rivers reject Ruga as Soyinka warns of project's consequences. And Lagos to resume work on failed Lagos-Badagry Expressway.
I have to give a round of applause to Lagos State.
Governor Sanwo-Olu.
Yes, Governor Sanwo-Olu and his deputy Hamzat. Both of them have promised that they were going to start work. But yesterday, represented by the deputy governor, Hamzat went to the location and said that they would now restart the entire road, starting from Bode Thomas all the way to Kokomaiko will be recommissioned, and he's promising that it will be done this year, and he's expanding this road from 4 lanes to 10 lanes.
6 to 10.
As in
6 to 10.
6 to from no, it's what I'm reading here is 4 lanes to 10 lanes. So it's deserving of a run. I'm feeling positive about this combination we have in Lagos State right now with a very active governor and a even very, very active deputy governor.
Let me rephrase that. There was a part he said that from Agboju to Trade Fair will be fixed before the end of the year.
Nice.
But from Trade Fair to Kokomaiko, they're going to have palliative measures to at least ensure that cars are able to pass. So don't expect that everything will be fixed all the way. So at the end of the year, between Agboju and Trade Fair, should be motorable. They're actually fixing that one totally and completely. So hopefully, if you can do that one, Governor Sanwo-Olu, that's the only thing
I want to clap like 10.
For Nima. That's all you need to do for Nima. And the whole of TDC.
She will be campaigning for you
forever.
Our president said he had a meeting with the Buhari Media Organization, and he said he needs a formidable team to be able to deliver his campaign promises. He also said that he worked very hard to leave the country better than he met it, and that he's laying a firm foundation. And I'm wondering, this foundation that you're laying, I hope you are considering the insecurity in the state, you are considering our deplorable states in the schools, you are considering our health center. It's not just lip service. Let's see the action you're taking.
Let's move on to The Guardian. Oh, your ministers are not...
The formidable team that is putting together.
They are working on it, don't worry. Let us see.
We'll see.
The Guardian. The Guardian. Foreign airlines shun Nigeria's airspace over safety concerns. Government encourages herders' impunity, says Soyinka. So who has this airspace story?
I have the story. So our pilots are complaining that it's not safe on our airspace for them. They are worried about the fact that they have poor communication between the cockpit and the control towers, and the problem has worsened over the years. There's also this worry and fear that they will probably be having collisions on the airspace. And now the foreign operators have bypassed our airspace. They are not taking our airspace anymore, which is costing us so much because we are not generating revenue to, you know, improve our facilities, and it's costing them more as well because of the bypass. So I think Nama should look into this and let's do something about it.
Thank you very much, ladies. We're breezing through that because we're done.
Okay.
We have to go on a break. When we come back, Takwa will be sharing with us how she's feeling a hustle. How she's feeling a hustle.
Another hustle.
Stay with us, we'll be right back.
You know another. It's the same academy. How to...
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still trying to get young people to have all the tools they require to build their own hustle. And Takwa again will be sharing with us how she's starting a new hustle, or continuing, I think.
Continuing,
makeup,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I've been doing makeup for, officially this year will be my 13th year that I started doing makeup.
Wow, that's a long time. You're painting faces.
Yes, I've been painting faces. But what I realized was we've been doing training, but 2 years ago, I decided to establish Awabela Makeup Academy as a proper, like, a training institute. And so in order to do it, you know you must research into your hustle. So I went into my Google app and I Googled how to launch a makeup academy. And I need to tell you the details of what, because it was step by step. They gave go for training, which I already had at the time, develop a business plan. I didn't think it was necessary, but I had to develop a business plan, secure a business license, which I have my registration, apply for license to run a school. Now, the difference here is Nigeria, we don't have that kind of structure where you apply for a license to run a school. So sometimes you might need to domesticate the research you do. Secure a place for your school, develop your curriculum, which I did, and there was a lot. I had to even do another research on how to develop my curriculum and then employ instructors. And what I realized was that I'd been doing makeup trainings before I set up the academy 2 years ago. But after I now decided to do it properly, there's been a huge difference in the quality of graduates we have. So a lot of our students now, I see them doing so well because they were not just taught like be watching what I'm doing, but they were taught in terms of there's a curriculum, like the way they go to school to learn. So that has been really helpful.
You know, we've been doing this continuously for the past few weeks. I'd like to ask our audience, and I'll come to you, Bejulu, who here has taken this knowledge? I mean, have you used Google app in any way? Let me know. I hope the mic is there. Let me hear your own testimony. Have you used Google app to research anything, especially to help you through your own hustle? I'll come to you in a second. Obiaji, you're going to say something?
Yes, I remember when she went to New York, she wasn't available for a while. I visited your studio and the quality of work going on. In fact, your manager, Abigail, was so good that nobody would even miss you because you had already put, that structure was in place and it's good. It's all good.
And it's helpful. It helps when you research into what you want to do. Most of the time in Nigeria, we just jump into a business. We jump into anything that we feel like, you know, we hear that something is profitable and then you go and do it. But you are supposed to research and, you know, do the necessary research to prepare yourself adequately. 3 in 5 businesses go out in the first 5 years. So
fantastic.
With enough research, you do well.
So nobody in our audience has actually tried that, but you know, I'm going to put this as a challenge to you. If you're able to tell me next week, Wednesday, I'd like somebody to come here and tell me how you've used, you have? Are you sure you've used Google app? Okay, so let me hear your experience. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everybody.
You can have a seat, it's okay.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Aya, first time.
Oh, wow, good to have you.
I'm an educator. I'm a teacher, precisely. So I use the Google app to search my curriculum. That's the school curriculum. Because most of the school curriculum are not set. So sometimes I use that to search for the Nigeria curriculum if I'm not able to get it from the hard copy. That's what I do.
That's good. Well
really
done,
nice.
well done.
That's really good.
So letting you know that you can actually use that app for many things. But I'm going to let Takwa continue because there are other things you also search for.
So you know that you cannot. I want to make money and I want to make it legitimately. So I have multiple streams of income. So I also use my Google app to search for how to become a certified coach. So I do these videos I do regularly. Most people will now ask me, how do I understand my future? How do I plan my life and all of that? And I realized while I could advise them from my head, it's better if I equip myself. So I went online to search how to become a certified life coach. And I saw online trainings, become a life coach in 2019. I saw get your certificate online. While I did my own training in Nigeria, I've also been able to use resources because there were a lot of free tips on coaching that you would get when you research this online.
I must say that your videos have actually improved. Did I ever tell you that? They've actually improved because when you get your video, you just start. You don't say, "Hi everybody, hey today." You drop that. I just went straight to it, and that gets me. That draws me in. And that's fantastic. So I'm going to put up a challenge to our audience next week. Somebody was ready to tell me how you have used that app. Because we want to ensure that every young person out there is fueling their hustle using research the right way. So next week, I'll let one person, and you just might get a gift from Google. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we talk about the pressing matter. Senator.
Oh, pressing.
No, is it distinguished? Extinguished. Because Ketenshaw is not my own word, though. Ketenshaw said, extinguished senator. And then discuss the issue of rape. But probably he's distinguished, but according to Ketenshaw, he's extinguished.
Can I go with her?
We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So yesterday, we're minding our business again.
Always minding our business.
When a video surfaced online showing a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria beating up a woman in a shop. Yes, however, this has actually sparked outrage, with many Nigerians calling for his prosecution as a lawmaker. Now, also, we're told that as I am speaking right now, there are Nigerians protesting in the House of Assembly.
Background.
And I'm wondering, wow, National Assembly actually, National Assembly. So, for those who have no idea what we're talking about, watch this clip, and then we'll speak to our correspondent who is at the National Assembly, tell us what's going on right there. Watch this.
Are you mad? I know why you go. I think you're very stupid. Take her. Go with her. Come. I think go. I think you're very stupid. Go now. Take her away. Take her away. Kenny, move back. Move back. Kenny, move back. You are my friend. I'll slap you. Move back. I said move back. I said out. I said out. Kenny, I'll get out. Go. You're my friend. I'll slap you. Go with her. I said go. I said go. I said go. I said go. Walk out now. I said out. Go out. Look at this dog. Kenny, don't talk. Oh. You get me angry. You are my friend and you misbehave. And I will shut down your shop.
I've known you for how long? That's my
Go with her. Go with her. Take her out. Daniel. Take her. Wait, no,
That's what we saw.
Hey.
That's what Nigerians saw. In fact, we're leaving one issue.
To
Another issue.
Hey, what did women do?
And I don't understand.
What did women do?
And it's important that we take this opportunity to address these issues. Yes, it could be 1,000,001 things that could have happened that caused that. But the issue is somebody was assaulted.
Yes.
Regardless of what caused it. You don't even want to know it was because according to him, he's saying that it happened way before he became a lawmaker in March. He's saying that something happened that the ladies, they actually beat up somebody else. We're hearing different versions. Somebody else said, oh, there some girls came in to the store, they were actually drunk. And the shopkeeper was saying that one of them threw up in the shop. And she's like, well, you can't be throwing up in our shop. We'll go and throw up. I was like, well, you're drunk. And that was the issue that's why he slapped her. There are different versions, but our conversation is not about why. Our conversation is, even regardless of what happened, do you have the right to assault anybody, right? These those is party, they are very hot slaps.
Hey, in the eye.
Even I felt it. I'm sure you guys did too. So before we have this conversation, let me talk to Femi Akonde, who is our senior correspondent in Abuja at the National Assembly. People are protesting. I would like to know, why are they protesting? What exactly is their objective? Femi, morning, are you there?
Yes, good morning, Morayo and the entire Your View crew. The protest is not at National Assembly, it's at the police headquarters here, where people have come to register their displeasure about the action of a certain senator from Adamawa North, where he was seen on video physically assaulting a lady. I'll tell you that the anger is growing right here, and the police have also put up a human shield, of course, to contain this peaceful demonstration here at the police headquarters. I would have one of them, Buki Shonibare, join me to just put all of this into perspective. Yes, Buki, this very disturbing video, what does this say about abuse of women and gender-based violence?
For us to have a video like this, where a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria would physically assault a woman, it tells you that we are not going far in terms of closing the gap between the gender. And what that means is that if someone that is placed in that position of leadership could perpetrate such kind of act, how much more the common man on the street? To whom much is given, much is expected. This is a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We hold him to higher, if not the highest form of scrutiny and accountability. So this says one thing, that we still have a long way to go when we are fighting against all forms of abuses against women in Nigeria.
Okay, people are also talking about the police officer in that video now, the orderly of the senator, who some people are saying, as a law enforcement officer, was supposed to restrain that senator, but he looked on.
Thank you. Law enforcement means that you are enforcing the law. Section 263C of the Penal Code, which applies here in Abuja, being the North, clearly says that any act of assault and battery is actually against the law. That is me putting it in a summarized form. Section 240 talks about hurt, and then when you hurt someone, what it is simply saying is that it is against the law. The Nigerian police is supposed to enforce the law. That police orderly standing there should look over his responsibility of being an orderly, but place his responsibility to Nigerians and the Nigerian people, especially Nigeria as an entity. Put that responsibility higher in restraining that man. We saw him holding the woman instead of arresting that man for going against the laws of the land. That is why today we are also calling that police orderly is unworthy of putting on the Nigerian police uniform. He should immediately be investigated and proper disciplinary action should be taken.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Buki. Well, Morayo, the conversation continues. People are talking about this incident. There's a petition already signed by a lot of protesters here, and that will be officially or formally submitted to the representative of the Inspector General of Police. And it is expected that the police would honor this petition, and as people are urging, begin prosecution of this senator alleged to have physically assaulted that lady at an adult sex shop somewhere in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Femi Akonde. Thank you so much for giving us that update. Now, so I'd like to come to our audience and to the ladies in the studio. The issue, yes, it was wrong to assault. But the other issue she raised concerning the police, do you think the police did wrong? I mean, if you ask me, I'll think, yes, he was respecting his boss by not trying to arrest his boss, but also he was somewhat trying to protect that lady. So I don't think the police should be held responsible for that. That's my own personal thinking, but let me hear your views on that, and I'll come to the audience shortly. Yes, Obiajilu?
I don't think he was protecting the lady.
Okay.
The order was for him to arrest her, take her out, according to the video that I watched. Take her out, arrest her. So he was trying to take the lady out of that place. There was no, I did not see any form of protection.
He was trying to calm her down.
He wasn't calming anybody down. He was leading her, from what I read in my own interpretation. So he was leading her out, which is definitely to arrest her, according to the boss. Another thing is, there's a conflict of interest. The way our system operates, most of those policemen are sent to safeguard the politicians and the leaders, and not necessarily to work for the people. So he cannot arrest the leader. They will sack him.
Okay, all right. Let me come to you, Miriam. Your thoughts on the video.
from my own interpretation, it seemed that, yes, of course, there's a conflict of interest. And I think he was trying to be smart about it. That's the police officer. So he did not, because I have seen when police officers arrest somebody, they do it quite aggressively.
Yeah.
So he seemed like he was trying to douse the situation. He took her out and he kept, you know, actually shielding her as he kept, as he kept throwing his hands at her. So I think that he was trying to be smart about it. He recognized, this is my boss, but how do I do this well?
Also, because we are trying really hard to sanitize the police. And it's important that when they do something somewhat better, we should encourage them. Yes, I agree with you that maybe it didn't look that way to you, but if for the Nigerian police, for me, that was a huge step in the right direction.
I agree with Mariam totally, so I don't need to repeat it. For me, the video showed an aggressive man, extremely aggressive, but for the hero in that video for me was the shop girl that did not let go of her friend. Because they were pulling her friend, but she held her friend. And the man kept saying, I know you, you know me, don't do like this, let her go. She held on. I know how we tend to behave under pressure, especially when it's with someone that is seemingly powerful, that we try to protect ourselves first. But that girl knew that her friend was being assaulted, but she didn't let go of her friend. So that is one good one. Besides, this is not strange, actually.
It's not strange.
It's not strange.
It's Let's be realistic with ourselves.
There are many videos online of men getting angry and assaulting women. And so the reason we are aggrieved about this is because when we appoint you as a politician, when you come out to say that I want to become a senator, you are saying that I would sacrifice and serve these people. Wow. It shows that you are someone that is respected and should be accountable to us. So no matter what kind of character flaw you have in yourself, when you become a senator, you would learn to comport yourself in a distinguished manner. That is why they call them the distinguished senator. He didn't comport himself in such manner. And I am still seeing people defending him, which is like, it's really reeks, smells, looks bad.
I saw an old man, I put up the post. I wanted to quote it. He was saying that, we should have mercy on him. He's a young man. And I'm like, really? A young boy at 41? Now, he is a young leader. I think he's one of the youngest.
He's the youngest. He is the youngest
in the Senate. So we have been saying we want our people, we want the youths to represent us. And now this is what this youth has decided to do to us, to embarrass us.
He's not
I'm
representing
very
us.
happy that our mumu don't do. I'm happy with the protest. You know, sometimes these things happen and people don't come out to talk about it. We are more concerned with social media. BBN has started now. Everybody will be. But now people are beginning to hold their leaders accountable. I'm glad.
So let me come to this issue. Thank you very much for raising that part of the not too young to wrong bill that came up, and we're all there fighting for young people to be. And somebody who is in his 50s and 60s wants to see them. Now, my question to the young people in the audience: if you were in his shoes, let's be realistic. You're now a powerful senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You have two girls, you're drunk all night partying, and somebody beats up your girl. Don't you feel like you're powerful? You have an orderly with you. You're not commanding. That's the truth. So this man is on trial because he's the lawmaker and because people know him. But there are lots of average Nigerian men in their 40s doing exactly the same thing. And nobody's saying anything about it.
An example.
So first of all, I think I've said this many times, which is our leaders are gotten from the same pool of Nigerians. Our leaders don't fall from heaven. So when you say, oh, this person is supposed to be a leader and act a certain way, he's acting the way a regular Nigerian acts. So to put it on your leader as if you should have some special thing, well, I mean,
let me come to our audience.
So what I'm thinking is, what we should concentrate on is re-enlightening us, sensitizing us, so that by the time you find yourself in a position where you are seen by the whole world, you will not embarrass yourself.
The best way is to set up punitive measures. Every human being has animalistic tendencies. What will curb it is when the society you are in refuses to allow you exhibit it by cautioning those that do in a way that you would not want to be in that position. So this is an opportunity. I believe there should be one internal discipline from the Senate, and I've not seen any tweets.
Two, you should step down.
There must be internal discipline from the Senate, number one. Number two, we must have discipline from the Nigerian police. There must be prosecution of this case.
Just because when things happen, you heard the National Assembly calling the IGP to come and talk. The police did this to somebody. You have done this to yourselves. They should be able to call this man to order. Because you cannot continue, because you always assume these things police do. Police does this. But we need to call this man to order and ensure he takes responsibility for his action. Let me come to the audience. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Beyond the protest,
Yes.
you know, that is happening at the moment, I think that I just want to align myself with what Tope said, that within the Senate, there should be a disciplinary action or something taken against the senator. And it also goes a long way to show you or to portray what happens in our society. Because this young man is a product of the society.
Yes,
so whatever he's doing, he didn't learn it overnight.
Exactly.
So we should just try to personalize what has happened to the young
Some people can even say that's how he beats his wife in the house.
Yeah, I have an example.
Very possible.
I have an example that happened to me last week. So I was stopped by the police and they were asking for tint permits, which they were not supposed to ask because of the card that I had. And I was very respectful. From the moment he stopped us, I was like, good afternoon, officer. Is there, you know, when I meet them, I try to be overly respectful so that there's no cause. And towards the end, it seemed like he wanted more and wasn't getting the information he wanted. And I have all my papers. In fact, it's a whole booklet. Anything you ask me, you will just get it. You get upset by that. And then he storms off and calls his other colleague. And then goes ahead to tell the colleague that was rude to him. Jesus. I said, how was I rude to you? Then the colleague says to me, you are a woman now. You should know how to talk to men. You can you can talk about it jokingly. I said, sir, the police force is a very important department of our security. I do not joke with the police. And I was very respectful to you. Would you lie about it? He said, go, ma, but next time you know you're a woman.
So you wonder
that
why
is
the
it.
gender equality bill hasn't been passed. When you see people like this in the Senate, it's important that we continue this conversation because I know that we can't end it here, but the conversation continues. But I have a call, Babatunde. Are you still there, sir?
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead,
morning,
sir.
Ladies. My name is Tunde calling from Ikeja.
Yes.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to join you guys. But the truth is, what the man did is bad. As a man, your wife might even do more worse than that, or you kill her. The bottom line is, you show maturity. Whatever she has done, you walk straight to the manager. Explain your plight to the manager. Let the manager take it up that you are taking laws to your hand. It shows we are not there yet. And I would love President Buhari to take it up. It's not the senator alone, because for what he has done, is a disgrace to Nigeria. And it's disgrace to
Thank you very much. Let me take one more comment from the audience. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good day. Police is a different category of service, I think. So when they're taking their actions, we should understand the disciplinary action when they take one. Because when people constitute nuisance, they need to be disciplined. And this one is a particular one from a good one. So I think the offenders always need to be disciplined. So that's what we
Let me take one more comment. The talk we're going to say something. Tweets, please.
Oh, we got carried away.
We didn't even. But I mean, this matter, as I say, is something that we need to continually talk about. Let me take a few tweets from you.
Okay, so before we take tweets, I wanted to mention the fact that I'm happy that social media jumped on it, and I'm happy that the civil society has jumped on it. I believe that this conversation should go beyond us just holding leaders accountable, but how we raise our children. I was at a forum recently, and they were saying that if your son comes back home from school and he was beaten, what will you do? I said, I would tell my son, don't ever get into a fight again. They say, no. You should tell the boy what does the other boy look like. And that's the way we raise our children. We raise them to fight back. I know we're trying to build our children up to be confident and aggressive, but we are also creating a society that this kind of things would thrive. So raise your children to nurture and respect women around them. Just the way you raise women to nurture and respect the men around them.
In Wake Up Nigeria this morning, there was somebody who came to talk about anger management, how to get angry properly. There are ways to exert your anger. You know, because the objective is to communicate your displeasure and then get that information. Like, okay, how do you resolve what I'm angry about? So when you're just lashing and beating up, it doesn't resolve anything. It only makes it worse.
If you're angry in the office with your boss, you now start hitting your boss.
So what in this case would be the best thing to do is, if he should be, of course, punished and also sent for therapy sessions to work on his anger.
We have to go on a break, unfortunately. We don't have time for that. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation and go on to the issue of rape. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Our guest is
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you. very much for staying with us. Let's take a few tweets on this topic. Mariam, go
Mr.
ahead,
PJ
please.
Comedian says, Senator Aisha Yusufu should not be seen as an ill against women alone, but against a human being. If the lady were to be a guy, he would have still done the same, if not worse, because he would have received more slaps from the Olopa to complement his boss's own. If Senator Abo goes scot-free, Nigeria's Senate is a joke, says JT Sphinx. Adebayo Lupeju says the senator should be prosecuted no matter what the lady has done. Such barbaric behavior should be condemned. There's more.
Omolaja says this is disgraceful and sad. It shows that democracy isn't growing at all. Where is the hope with the youngest senators' cold behavior like this? The saddest thing is that the policeman couldn't do anything. They become slaves to the politicians. Adebayo Ilupeju. Okay, that's the one you just read now.
Now, the issue I have is the fact that this patriarchal society is worsening in its ideals towards women. Because we're trying really hard to make people understand that, yes, we're looking for gender equality. Yes, in the home, husband and wife, there's no equality according to our holy books.
Yes.
But when a man and a woman stands, we're asking for that equal respect, mutual respect. And this only totally highlights again this issue of, because I am a man, I have your type in the house, I can beat you, I can slap you. That boldness men have towards any woman regardless. So because the way this man acted, an Okada rider, when he sees the CEO of Cadbury, who is probably a female,
yes,
he'll do the same thing.
Yes, you're right.
Very likely for him to do exactly the same thing, because how can you talk to me like that? Who are you? Should be a good man like you. Slap.
Morayo,
is that issue we have?
This goes back to the nature of our society and the nature of our parenting. I still see in some homes where they instill that he is a boy. He should be treated like a boy.
He's a king.
Yes, he's a king in the house. I have just one son and I have two girls. And I remember there was a certain time, I think my parents were trying to tell him that, you know you are the man of the house. And I'm like, not my house. So you will treat your sisters well. You will not lift a hand on your sisters, and you will do the chores like everybody else. If you get me upset, I will have another boy. So honestly, I tell him that all the time. So I think even as parents, we should look at how we are raising these men to know that everybody is equal. When you're married, you can now be lord over your wife, but every other female like you're equal.
Let's take this call from Olayemi. Olayemi, are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, go ahead, please.
My name is Olayemi. I'm a young politician. I totally want to condemn the act of the senator. Because being in office does not give you that right or room to be rude to a woman.
Yeah.
We are all humans. If it were to be me, it won't go scot-free. Because I'll make sure I either damage one of the parts of his body as a life record for him. Never to do that to any human.
Right, thank you very much, Olayemi.
I mean, I would advocate violence with violence. I think we should always try to see how we can get justice done. You know, if he's prosecuted and he's taught a lesson, that would help to stop others from doing the same. But if you're trying to hit each other and something happens, the police officer goes off,
let's move on
and
from
someone
this topic.
dies.
I mean, I think a lot of people are still commenting. The topic is still hot.
We will not leave it alone.
We'll also not leave it alone, because we're going to follow up and see, hopefully, that some kind of disciplinary action is taken against him in the House. Let me take one more call, then we'll move on to this issue of rape. Are you there?
Hello.
Ayo, are you there? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, go ahead, please.
Yeah. This issue of this senator is really, really disturbing, and I don't even know. I feel like slapping him myself if I'm there.
Calm down,
no
brother.
violence, so
please. Such a senator should be removed instantly. Because I have sisters, and I can't just imagine a man slapping my sister. I just can't imagine. Hello?
Okay, we have to round up on this conversation, but it's important to state very clearly, you cannot use violence against another violence. It doesn't really work, because it means that we're just recycling the same issue over and over. We must all get to a point where we must agree to disagree. You are wrong, you feel you are wrong, I mean, you think you're right, you're right. I think I'm right, I'm right. And we agree that we're both wrong, that we're both right on our side, and we mind our business. So if he gets angry at whatever it is that you're throwing there, you're insulting my guest for throwing up in your store, that is very wrong. Don't you dare shout at my guest. You can have that conversation. And if you feel the woman is insulting you, you tell her boss, or caution your girl. If they still don't listen, then you get the police involved. That, arrest these people for...
well, make a complaint.
Or make a complaint, a formal complaint.
To walk away.
Honestly, you must not buy from that store.
Make a complaint. We should follow that course. Make a complaint.
If you are also upset at the senator, what we need to do is get some kind of disciplinary action, not by beating him or hitting him back, getting him off the office, reducing his pay, suspending him for some time. There are things you can do. But we don't want violence to be the one that the order of the day.
Out, and then that would serve as a deterrent for other people.
Okay, let's move on to the issue of rape. Now, all week we've been talking about Busola's issue with the pastor, Fatoyinbo and all that. But we don't want to totally go back to those two parties. Our focus really was on this issue of rape. Now, we had a special guest. Unfortunately, she had to rush off to a meeting. I really, really hoped she would have been on the show, but I guess she had to rush off for another meeting. So we'll still have to bring her back at some point. But what we want to discuss on this issue of rape, because Praise Forward put together an article which was very, very insightful. Because what he was saying in that article was almost every young man growing up as a teenager, a young adult, we're faced with that position where you feel that to be a man, to be a complete man, you have to at least try to forcefully get this thing from a girl. Either you date her, and even though she says no, you still try to push a bit harder. A lot of men have gone through this. So let's not act all acting as if we're all anti-rape or is a bad thing. No, many of us have been through it, according to Praise Forward. That in fact, a lot of men probably need to apologize to lots of women in their lives because you have at some point in your life done this.
Ew.
So let's have that conversation. Let's open up the phone lines. We'd like to hear your thoughts on have you been raped? Or have you raped somebody? And how? Listen. Have you?
Nobody will say that.
Have you raped somebody? Because you could have done it unintentionally. Because but let us discuss it and know that it is a real issue we have in our society.
So the thing for me is that this situation brought a lot to the limelight, a lot of things to the limelight. I realized that a lot of men are engaged don't understand that no is no. We don't understand what consent is. So I have been asking many people. They say when she says no, it means try harder.
Ew.
So no is try harder. No is okay. I'm forming hard to get. So a lot of men end up raping girls, thinking that she will still agree. She will still agree. And Praise highlighted the fact that many girls in a relationship, you are in a relationship with someone who does not give the person permission to have sex with you.
Hallelujah.
And the fact that a lot of girls define it as a young child. As a young girl, we all had this conversation that I want to marry a virgin. A lot of us. And we all tell our boyfriends then that we can just kiss, so we will not do anything else. But you realize that you have done everything.
Before.
And the thing that happened is because there's a mounting pressure. We must face the fact that men should learn to understand that no is no. Yeah. When a woman says no, even if you took her on a date, even if you drank with her, even if you bought her everything she's wearing, if she has said no, anything you do at that time is rape.
Hey. See, and that's the realization we must all come to, and that's why we're having this conversation. I'm going to continue having this conversation. I'd like to come to our audience, and I'd like a few of us to share your stories. You don't have to use yourself, just say my sister or my auntie or somebody I know. You can say, it's all right. But let us hear the stories of people's experiences because we must share the stories. Nigerians must understand that it actually exists, and we must change that narrative that once I say no, it is no, you stop, period. Nimba, you want to say something?
Yes. So, you know the Alpha that's raped a 4-year-old. There's another one I read that raped a 16-year-old who was saying no to him. She didn't want to get married to him. So he kept pushing and she kept saying no. And finally he took her somewhere. They traveled together. She's a scholar under him. Traveled together and then he perpetrated that act there and continued when they came back. And now the parents are even afraid to continue that fight because of threats from the Alpha, you know. So the fear is there. So when I was reading through, I understood that because men feel they are superior to women, how dare you tell me no? Some men take it very personal. I remember back in the university, I was having a chat with one of our friends. He came to take his girlfriend out and he brought a friend. So all of us, we were like 5 friends together, went out with them. And then he looked at me and said, I want to date you. And I'm like, hello? It came as a shock. I'm like, I don't like you. He said, you can't say you don't like me. When I want to date you, I will date you. All this one you're doing, you're forming. I was very, very upset. How dare you? He said, no, you are just, this, you know, you don't, nobody has ever told me no. So men take it very personal when a lady says no to them. Their ego is just brought to...
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to be. When we come back, we'll talk to our audience and see if anybody's willing to share the experiences. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
All right, thanks for staying with us. So we're going to go to the audience. Let's hear a few thoughts. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My name is Aisha. You see, this vape issue, I was involved in a vape incident when I was in JSS1 in my secondary school. And it all falls to peer pressure. Because as a young boy, I always wanted, I believe boys at my age group at that time, always wanted, when we see some beautiful young girls or even older ladies, we take it as a discussion among ourselves that, oh, that beautiful lady passing there now, I'm going to have her, I'm going to date her. It starts from dating. And then as a young lady, they, at my age then, they feel guys that are academically intelligent. They believe, okay, this guy can't touch me and all that. So at that period, I had to, because I went to a boarding school, but my boarding school was a mixed boarding school. So I went, we had a chapel, after a chapel service, and I told my friends that, okay, that girl, I'm going to get her. I lied that I had already started dating her, just to have hype yourself, just to be a big boy in secondary school. So I went to, after the service, I sneaked out from my own hostel, and she sneaked out from my hostel, and then we met at a staff room.
Also, she liked you actually?
She liked me, but not really
enough to have sex.
And we entered inside the staff room, and she didn't want to do it. But I wanted to do something so I can tell my friends how it was, the experience. And that was how it happened. But it was... Yes, then it was not as
that's fine. I get the point. Yes. But you see, one of the things what Praise was saying, because I mean, I really like everybody to get that praise right, and I hope you post it on Facebook, is that you've done it. In your mind, you're just a young person trying to do what you got to do. But that girl, you don't know if you had actually damaged her. You don't know where she is today. A lot of people don't know where the person who was your prey. You have no idea what she's done. So from that moment, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about that person generally becomes somebody. Now she's not giving me this freely. Because, hey, it was taken from me. Let me come to you, Mariam.
You know, that particular story about you may have damaged her, another sad part of that story is that some girls have gone through that and did not realize at the time that they had been raped, and that was an assault. So you have conditioned them also now to think that it has to be forceful.
Yes, that was my fault.
Yes, so...
Let me come to you, and I have a young lady also wants to share a story. Go ahead, please.
So this is not my real story, but it's a friend's story. Okay, I remember when I was in school, a girl was raped, and then when the guy was arrested and he was actually asked, and it was like, oh, she's so beautiful, the way she dressed, it turns me on and all of that. So I was thinking she wanted me because she was extraordinarily nice to me. And naturally, the lady is a nice lady. So I love to say this from what you said, that in as much as we want to work on our girls, in as much as we want to orientate our girls, we also need to work on the male child as well. It's very important. Like, they feel they are superior. And why some of them feel that, some of them feel very weak, but act strong as well. So we need to work on the male gender as well.
So, as I said, we cannot exhaust this conversation because we still need to bring in an expert to help us understand. Unfortunately, it's so sad that our expert had to leave. Because young people, adolescents at that age, you feel the hormones are raging. You want to have sex. It's the age. No. Now, how do you manage that situation is what we need to ask the experts. Yeah. How does a young teenager be able to either suppress that emotion or use it responsibly?
I think that we've taken it for, our society has taken it for granted that men cannot control their urges. And we allow them, we permit it. That is a problem. Men can control themselves. That's number one. Number two, a girl being nice to you doesn't mean that for any reason she's giving you green lights. Yeah. Being kind and being polite is not green light. If I say no in a gentle way, does not mean that I don't mean my no. I don't need to fight. I don't need to get aggressive in my no for you to get the message. But we tend to feel like, she's saying it nicely. Let me still try. We must get to that point where no matter how she says it, and the best way to approach this is through punitive measures. When we punish people,
okay, we'll come
then
to
they will realize it.
Let me take this call, then I'll come to Beajilu. Thanks for calling from London, Big Semi. Go ahead, please. Oh, he's out. I do apologize. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't think every young girl at a certain age wants to have sex. I don't think that's the issue. I think because of our the way our body has been set, at that age, we have those sensations coursing through our bodies. And yes, and you like the touch, you like the necking, you like the kissing, but you don't want to go further. Most of the girls I know at that age growing up did not purposely want to go further. But because of the pressure of the guy, there's what they call grooming. They keep grooming you and grooming you and grooming you till you finally, till you finally accept. And if you see most of them who finally give in, at the end of the day, they sleep around because now it's been taken from them. So what have I been saving for a long time? There's no point. I can easily give it. So the thing for me is we shouldn't teach, you can't suppress those feelings for young people. I shouldn't teach my child to suppress it. Understand what you're feeling, but channel it to a productive, make sure that you are engaged.
Like you're doing lawn tennis.
Nima was saying, yes. Nima was saying something recently when we talked about drug use for young people. And she mentioned something very important and said that when we're growing up, we didn't have so much time to fool around. We're busy doing house chores. You will wash plates, you will fetch firewood, you do all of those. Channel your children, push them to do things. Sporting activities will take away all of those sensations.
I think I have a call. Morning, are you there? Okay, right, go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, so another part I like to talk about really is the dress. I hear this said a lot about rape, like what was she wearing? So a lot of the information out there encourages our young boys to push, forcefully, which is you're told from when you're young that if you're a virgin and you're a boy at a certain age, then you're not a, you're not a hip hop, you're not a man. So they lie to you about, then you find a university where you go for parties, they spike your drinks with all sorts of things. So the boy child needs to be re-educated, re-informed. Then I think we also need to talk about what happens when you rape.
Yes.
So the justice, punishment when you rape. And that will also teach us what not to do.
So I want to agree on what exactly is the punishment for this rape.
So I just got some. In Nigeria, first of all, there are various laws on rape. And in Nigeria, there's a criminal code in the south and the penal code in the north. And both of them say life imprisonment. That's the punishment.
It's not enough.
But we don't know how many people get it. But I just wanted, let me just quickly add this. There are some other countries that take rape really seriously. So in China, you have death or genital mutilation. In Iran, you are killed by the victim, either shot or hanged. In India, it's imprisonment up to 15 years, death for repeat offender. In France, imprisonment for 15 years, maximum 30 years. In Netherlands, which is 4 to 15 years, which seems like if it's little, but a French case is also
rape. Let me take this call. Let me talk to somebody in the audience. Go ahead, lady. Go ahead.
Okay, so there is this thing that happens, or that is common within girls of the age of 15, 16, within that range. So you are dating somebody, at least like at a young age, at 15, 16, you're dating someone and the guy tells you, let's do it, let's have sex. Deep down, you know you don't want to do it. You know it's not right. You know I want to keep my virginity. But you give in sake of, I love him. Most girls within that age, in fact, starting from 14, give in because of, I love him. When you tell him that, well, I'm dating you, you are dating me, we're both dating, I love you, you love me, but I can't have sex with you. It won't kill them.
Okay,
but most girls.
Let me now come to the young people in the audience. I'll come to our mummies. I know the mummies down here want to say a few things. But when you're under that pressure, and I like to like the ladies, the young ladies in the audience, when you really like a guy, because love is real, and you have that love, I really love him. Now, that pressure she talked about, can somebody help me describe it? What do you do when you're under that pressure? Those of you who have been able to overcome that pressure, what did you do? So somebody who is listening, who's under that pressure right now, just because she's hot, she's pretty, and she just feels like this, I need to be part of the in team, you know, the in group. I have to give in. So I want to know, I'm talking to a young person now, how do you overcome that pressure? So go ahead.
Okay, I think basically young adults should understand that their parents can never lead them astray. We always want to talk to our peers, you want to talk to your friends, but they always give you the wrong advice. They always tell you, just do it, there's nothing there. But when you talk to your parents, yes, they might scold you, but at the end of the day, it's for your good. So I think who we look up to for advice plays...
Fantastic. Get your parental role models. Yes, go ahead.
Do you think that there's a way that a parent should teach you long before you start having sexual urges? Do you think that there's a way Nigerian parents are doing? Do you think we're doing it right?
We're not doing it right.
What a young lady...
So in your own experience, or with those that you know, how do the parents teach you such that you're willing to even take their own advice? Yes.
My parents were not there at first, and a lot of things had to go wrong before they came around. And when they came around, things just fell back into place.
Fantastic.
So basically, just be friends, and parents shouldn't be so strict.
Yes. Okay.
Be friends with your children.
So Moshood Akinleye says, on saying no, when it comes to consent and sex, ladies must ensure that their verbal matches with the non-verbal. You can't be saying no and be smiling. You don't have to shout. Say no with firmness. Non-verbal cues communicates more than the verbal.
Thank you, Tokwe. And I'll come to the audience for that. Okay. Young men, I'll come to you. Young men in the audience, have you ever experienced what Tokwe just said? When she's saying no, but her body is saying otherwise. Her actions, everything about her is just, no, Jerry, no.
She's not straightforward.
So she's not straightforward. So let me take this call, then I'll come to you, Biajilu. Hello, are you there? Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to, first of all, comment on the first issue about the senator that assaulted a lady.
Yeah.
Okay. My observation about it is, firstly, it's not supposed to be a gender issue. It's actually, an anger issue. Okay, because it would have also been, if we were a guy, would have done worse. Would have still, have beaten up the guy. So the action is totally not gender-based.
Okay.
It is an anger issue, and it is condemnable in all ramifications. It is not becoming of anybody that calls himself a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Right. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for that point.
Secondly, the issue of the policeman that was looking, the policeman is first has the duty to protect Nigerian citizens.
Right.
So basically, he has that duty first and above his responsibility to his organ. He's not supposed to stand and look while his organ commits an offense. He's supposed to arrest his organ or at least restrain his organ. So that's actually my contribution.
Thank you very much, Mark. Yes, Ovejide.
So let me try to be calm so that maybe people will hear me better. The issue of saying no and then giving your body, your non-verbal is saying yes. I think we should raise our children to learn how to, even the scripture says, let your no be no and your yes be yes. So if you are saying no, make sure that you're not smiling when you're saying, in fact, when they even ask you that question of sex, open your mouth and scream, I am not interested. But when you now, no, I don't want. Let me put it down. No, I'm not done. No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That we should teach them. Oh, we should
This is what I'm going to say. Boys, no is no. That is all. See, I have a son, and I do not want him to ever get in a position where he thinks, well, there were non-verbal cues, the sun was shining, and the rain was falling. Nothing else matters. If she says no, then it's no. For your own good.
I am also saying, and I'm also saying we should teach. It doesn't mean that it's realistic at the moment. But I would tell my daughter to scream the no. Don't say it's small. But I haven't finished, so hold on, please. So I wanted to talk about helping our children, you know, to fortify them so that when they get to that age, they are not misled. A lot of parents back in the days, the kind of parents we had, didn't know how to instill self-esteem. So when you hear the first time a boy telling you, I love you, you've not heard it before, your body rages. But when you start telling your girl children that you love them, when that comes, it doesn't...
We can't deny hormones. As a single girl with the right values, you are in love with somebody, it touches you, you are hormonally moved.
Yeah.
So yes, your body wants it, but your brain knows you shouldn't do it.
Right.
You tell him no.
Right.
So you cannot take the physical, you cannot be taking my physical cues to gauge my no.
Yeah.
In developed countries, they will, even now, people are not careful that I won't be in the same room with you before you say I sexually harassed you. Right. Because you want to avoid it. So
I'll come to you, Mariam.
let me
take a few of the young people. Yes. Where's the mic? No, let me get that young lady up there, please. The lady up there. Please, go ahead. You have a call? Thanks for calling. Are you there? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning. My name is Adi. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to talk about an awareness of sexual abuse that I got to find out yesterday happening in the medical field. Now, we all think of you that doctors have total access to our body. There's a story a friend shared with me, and I'd like every female to be aware about this. Now, this lady went to meet a doctor, complaining about menstrual pain. And then this senior consultant told the girl to lay down. He took gloves, and then he told her to spread her legs, and was inserting his finger in her genitals. Now, we feel that this is normal because the girl is ignorant about this. Now, this man was doing this for a very long time, and then the girl was moaning and groaning in pain. He actually dissuaded this girl. And then when he turned around, he found out that he was pleasuring himself. Now, out there, you should be aware that a doctor does not have access to insert his finger into your genitals. Even if you have lumps in your breast, he should not just fondle your breast like that.
In fact, that's a whole new kettle of work.
He must explain the process, and
Ogade, I have heard. Thank you so much for bringing this up. We're going to deal with it on another show. Yeah. This is a whole new chapter, which we have to deal with, but not today. Let me take your comments. Go ahead, please.
Most of our girls don't. They feel like you have to say no. But how about if you want it? I think you should teach our girls to have the courage to say yes. You don't have to say, no, I don't want, and expect them to push. If you want it, you have to be woman enough to say, yes, I want it, let's do this. So I think that's the awareness you also need to raise for women as well. Okay.
So did you understand that? If you actually want it,
you don't need to say no
it with confidence. Let's do this, bro. Let's make it happen. But if you do not want it, be firm. We're not having it.
Yes, be firm. Okay, so the only thing now I'm worried about, where this conversation is going is because we're talking about hormones, we're talking about young people. And for me, I feel it's a really very different discussion than rape. So yes, we have hormones. This is like sex education, and it's very different. Rape is when you go ahead and take it without consent being given. So I don't want someone to come and say, well, okay, I'm at that age, I'm feeling hormonal and things like that. Please, I just do not feel that when we're going with this discussion should be in the same place as with rape. As rape.
All right. Let me take this comment. Go ahead, sir.
I want to take it a bit further from what the young lady said. At the point of saying yes, and you are in the act already, various perspectives to rape has also suggested that the moment the lady now says no, in between lines, that it has become rape. So where do we go from there?
So that's a legal battle. So you start with, let's do this. Someone in the media just remember, you hear your mother's voice. Hey, don't you dare. And say, Oga, stop. That moment. Should you stop?
You should stop.
The answer is yes, you stop.
You should stop.
At that moment,
let me give you a true story. Mike Tyson, at least we all know Mike Tyson, the boxer.
Robin Williams,
Yes. And he had a real life engagement. He had a date with his girlfriend. They went out together. They had food together. They walked into the hotel room together. And she said no. Mike Tyson went to prison for raping a girl that he took on a date. They were dating. They went to the hotel room together. At the point of intercourse, she said no.
In the middle.
At any time she says no,
it is no.
Is no.
Do you get that?
So, okay.
Let me take this tweet. Let's take tweets, please.
Okay,
we have plenty tweets.
All right.
Boyce Maxine says, nevertheless, a good leader, no matter how angry you are, you have to learn to control yourself. It's time for those activists to do their job. Akifemi Balogo says, girls should stop initial gra-gra and keep their no firmly. No, Uchechi said, you guys should also learn to hear from the other side. This young man, Senator, this is a documentary that happened. He said something happened years ago. Okay, back in the story.
Mr. PJ Comedian says, yes, punitive measure must be taken to curb rape, but with proper investigations. If not, even innocent people will be persecuted too. Joseph in the Bible and his Oga's wife is an example.
Let me take a final comment from the audience. Go ahead, madam.
Look at this is peer pressure and how it drives us today. We are so conditioned with social media that every part of your life must be out there. Everyone must know these things. But that is not true. Especially with the issue of sexual relations. Something like that should be private. And so you never find yourself having to talk about, oh, okay, actually we did do this or we didn't do this. It should never be a topic. It should be between you and the person, your significant other. Instead of putting it on social media, talking to everyone about it, unless you talk to someone who
whether we like it or not, boys will always talk.
No, if we teach them differently, they
so
might
you're saying we should teach them differently. That once it happens, you must be responsible for that act and keep it private. It's not a gisting conversation.
Because not all boys talk.
Not all boys. Unfortunately, we have to round up. We've lost time. I mean, goodness, we ran out of time.
But we got the message.
But
I hope you got the message.
It's important that young boys and young girls, what we've said, what we've learned so far today, boys, no matter what point you are in, no is no. If you are halfway in the beginning, almost there, no. You come out, you stop.
I'm boys.
That's what we said today. Clap for me. And for the girls, we have made it clear. Make your no and firm.
Thank you.
And if you want to do it, be confident. We are doing this. We are going all the way. Go all the way. That's your business. You and God.
Then for the boys, if you want to be a virgin, do not allow anyone tell you differently. If you don't want sex, you don't want sex.
Yeah.
You're not ready. You're not ready.
I know a 40-year-old virgin.
Okay.
Yes, I know him.
Yes, is he married?
Waiting for the right woman.
Yes. Wait boldly.
He's waiting boldly with confidence.
Exactly.
That's what we can take. I beg, ma.
Yeah,
please give me the mic. Give mommy the mic.
Self-control.
What did you say, ma? Come on, sit down. Okay. We have to round up.
It's irrespective of the hormones that runs riot in the bodies of the girls and the boys, they should have self-control. But girls should also remember there are consequences. And there is always an afterwards, which may not be beneficial to her.
Hallelujah! Thank you. On that note, we round up. See you next week. Bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow.